I joined at the age of 31. I was one of the youngest CEO.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Which
I joined
company?
Skechers. I spent about 3 years there, and then I moved to Reliance. The first large break, I would say, happened. I got an offer to join Crocs.
Crocs.
Timex is 170-year legacy.
Yeah.
One of the largest brand in the world with 2.7 billion watches sold.
अगर कोई छोटी D2C ब्रांड है या फाउंडर नई ब्रांड स्टार्ट करी है बट 6 months हो गए बट इट इज़ नॉट वर्किंग, सेल नहीं आ रही है या लॉस में, और आपसे कोई फाउंडर पूछे कि सर क्या स्ट्रेटेजी फॉलो करनी चाहिए, तो व्हाट विल यू आस्क, लाइक प्रॉफिट, रेवेन्यू और प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट, आप क्या चीज़ देख के डायग्नोस करोगे कि कहाँ गलती हो रही है? Why do some brands succeed in India while other fails? Even when the product is same, product is perfect, there is no problem in product. Crocs, Timex, Tupperware. Why do these brands hire people like you in their crucial phases? Like, what do they expect you to do?
It was very difficult to sell a Crocs to a woman. Anything which is stable bores me. I don't like anything which is easy or stable. What gives me a kick is something which is not working. Organization who are looking for turning around businesses, I think I suit them.
आज के एपिसोड में हम ऐसे लीडर से बात कर रहे हैं जिन्होंने कंज्यूमर, रिटेल, लाइफस्टाइल और स्पोर्ट्सवेयर जैसी कॉम्पिटिटिव इंडस्ट्री में 20 साल का एक्सपीरियंस लिया है। टपरवेयर, क्रॉक्स, स्केचर्स, नाइक जैसे ग्लोबल ब्रांड्स के साथ काम करके इन्होंने ग्राउंड से लेके बोर्ड रूम तक हर लेवल पे लीडरशिप देखी है। आज हम उनसे ये जानेंगे कि ब्रांड कैसे बनते हैं, मार्केट में सर्वाइव कैसे करें जब कंपटीशन हर जगह हो, और नए एंटरप्रेन्योर्स के लिए क्या स्ट्रेटजी सबसे सही रहती है। सो लेट्स वेलकम दीपक छाबड़ा। फर्स्टली सर, थैंक यू फॉर डूइंग दिस। इट्स अ ग्रेट pleasure having you over here. So we'll start. Let's start with your journey. You have been part of some really, really iconic brands, right? So how did your journey begin?
Sure, Saurabh. First of all, thanks for having me here. So my professional journey started in 1996. And there is an interesting thing which happened. Actually, after my school, I'm a small town boy, born in a very small town in UP to a business class family, and the youngest amongst the four. So my parents were like, you do what you want to do. Yeah. But nobody told me what to do. Yeah. So I applied for medicine and engineering. These were the two things, in our time.
Correct.
Then X, if I say, 74 born.
Right.
But then I also applied for hotel management.
Okay.
Because that was kind of glamorous for a small town. Any which way, I left engineering, I left medicine and went for my hotel management in Goa.
Okay.
And then after 3 months, I realized, no, this is not what I want to do. So I moved back to Delhi, did my graduation. I did, BSc honors in zoology, which I never thought I'll be doing. Okay. And then I ended up doing I ended up doing a post-graduation in footwear technology. Because footwear technology.
Footwear technology, okay.
And my family happens to be in the business of footwear.
Footwear, okay.
So the whole intention was probably I'll add more value to the family business.
Yeah.
And by, understanding a bit more technical part of it.
Right.
They were more into retailing and wholesaling, and I thought, okay, I'll get into manufacturing and probably make a large brand for myself. So that's where I went ahead.
Journey started.
Journey started.
Yeah.
I spent 2 years, did footwear technology. And then I thought, okay, let me try professional world for a year. Let me learn from there and then set up my thing. So, you take risk at the expense of organization rather than you starting on your own from day one. And that's where the journey started. So, since it was footwear, so the offers were largely from footwear companies. But the whole thing was I didn't want to move out of Delhi.
Okay.
Yeah? So I finally ended up joining a Indian company called Phoenix. Okay. They had a pretty popular brand called Tufts. And Tufts is popular because of controversial ad of Milind Soman and Madhu Sapre. Right. It was a very controversial ad. And that brand I joined for about and worked with them for about 5-6 years. And that is where I understood nitty-gritty of, business, profession, how the distribution happens,
Hmm.
how consumer, perceives a brand, why
Hmm.
they buy, why they do not buy.
Okay.
Because I started from the, absolutely grounds up.
Ground, right.
I was a area manager covering northern part of India,
Hmm.
and then, you know, went ahead and covered western part. So these 5 years of my first organization were really, really important for me, because that's
Hmm.
where I understood,
Hmm.
why consumer buy
Hmm.
and why they do not buy, and how the
Okay.
channel works, what importance of a brand, a consumer looks for.
Hmm.
Is it brand or is it product?
Hmm.
What is more important? So it was very, very exciting. And then I joined at the age of 31. I was one of the youngest CEO.
Hmm.
Uh,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so I
Which
joined
company?
Skechers. Skechers is a pretty large American brand.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
so I joined them as a CEO
At the
at
age
the
of
age of
31.
31,
Wow, that's
and I
impressive.
moved from Delhi to Mumbai.
Yeah.
So that was one large break for me,
Hmm.
wherein I didn't do any larger,
Hmm.
IMs and all, but I think I did well in the first 5 years, learned faster than others, implemented few strategies which worked,
Hmm.
grew as till the level of general manager for
Hmm.
sales, and that's where was picked up
As
uh,
a CEO of
as a CEO for
Skechers.
Skechers, and that was very interesting journey.
So,
Spent some time.
was it a life-changing moment for you?
So, I think it is after this.
Okay.
Yeah, I won't say becoming a CEO of a large company at the age of 31 was
Hmm.
the moment.
Okay.
That was, I think, stepping stone for me, I would
Okay.
still say.
Hmm.
But it was very interesting. Now you are running an organization, you are into management rather than doing yourself,
Correct. Right.
You have done it yourself, now you're getting things done. Yeah, of course, that gave me a lot of experience to management,
Hmm.
and it gave me exposure to various different functions.
Hmm.
I was largely into technical part of footwear manufacturing, then
Okay.
got into sales.
Marketing.
But when I joined Skechers, of
Hmm.
course, I was exposed to entire backend,
Entire.
supply chain,
Hmm.
value chain, marketing,
Hmm.
managing people, general administration.
Right.
So that really helped me uh,
Hmm.
grow as a 360-degree professional.
Hmm.
And then after that, I spent about 3 years there, and then I moved to Reliance.
Okay.
Reliance,
Reliance Retail or
Reliance Retail.
Retail? Okay.
They were just planning to get into businesses which are, consumer facing.
Okay.
They all had businesses which were more on the back end side,
Right.
whether it's refining or, textiles and all. But
Right.
they decided to form a company called Reliance Retail.
Reliance Retail.
And then they hired about 25 people
Okay.
to set up various different verticals.
Oh.
And by verticals, I mean those were product
Product
verticals,
verticals.
either apparel or
Hmm.
say electronics. I
Hmm.
was taking care of footwear vertical,
Okay.
and I moved to Bangalore. So that took me to Bangalore. So I spent about 9 years there.
In
Again,
Reliance.
lot of at Reliance. Yeah,
Okay.
pretty interesting. Set up from grounds up the whole format.
Right.
What kind of stores we should open? Are they gonna be mall store or a high street? What should be the size?
Right.
Are they going to be family destination store?
Hmm.
Will they be more on private label versus brand?
Hmm.
What should be the size of the stores?
Right.
Metro, non-metro,
Hmm.
mall, high street. A lot of decisions.
Hmm.
So we built it up from grounds up. And when I left them after spending about 8 years,
Hmm.
we had opened about 250 stores. But those were very large stores, about
Okay.
say 4,000 square feet, with
Oh.
about 35, 40 people working in every store.
Hmm.
250 stores, managed about 7,000 people. But my life-changing decision, which was life-changing, moment, which was because Reliance is a very large organization.
Right.
So I was happy I'm leading one function as a vice president,
Okay.
but there were probably 200 vice president in that
Right.
organization.
Right.
Yeah, and then it is still, it's not a proper profession, I would say.
Right. Huh.
Still closely held. Decisions were still taken in maker's chamber rather than being taken in your office.
Right.
And I was finding myself not growing as a professional.
Hmm. Okay.
And that's where the first large break, I would say, happened. I got an offer to join Crocs.
Crocs.
Yeah, and Crocs.
This is which year?
Saurabh, this was in 2016.
2016. Okay.
So about 10 years
I
back.
think during their crucial phase,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. They had
Yeah.
set shop in India,
Yeah.
but they were struggling in setting up, distribution network.
Hmm.
The reach, consumers, stores, online had just started.
Hmm.
So they were not able to scale up.
Hmm.
So I joined them as a CEO and MD.
Okay.
Came back to North.
Hmm.
We were headquartered in Gurgaon itself, and that's where I felt this is the one where I could really make an impact.
Hmm.
And I also realized anything which is stable bores me.
Yeah.
I don't like anything which is easy or stable.
Hmm.
What gives me a kick is something which is not working.
Which is not working, or which is not in a good shape.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where I realized, that's something which I want to do. And that's where my 4 organizations, including Crocs, were all turnaround stories. And that's made me, made me progress faster. Because when you turn things around, you probably become a bit more wiser. And you can make a larger impact.
Right.
So that was Crocs. I'll cover that in more detail probably later.
Yeah.
And then
we'll come on Crocs
Sure.
later.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Crocs was about 3.5 years.
Okay.
The business had become 2.5 times in 3.5 years.
Okay.
Profitability had become 7 times
Oh, wow.
when I joined. Point of sales had become quadrupled 4 times. We set up e-commerce network. We set up large retail network. We opened about 225 stores.
Oh.
We started selling across length and breadth of the country. Brand was anyway hot. I won't say we changed the brand. Brand was
absolutely
already hot.
I remember 10 years back, 15 years back, Crocs was used to be a brand sign. If
Sure.
you're wearing Crocs, then it means okay, you're something.
Sure.
Right? There was a trend of Crocs 10 to 12 years back.
Sure. No, absolutely. So, but yeah, I won't say it was only distribution network and how do you reach to the consumer, which I set up, but we expanded the brand. So when I moved in, Crocs was largely known for kids, footwear.
Footwear, right?
So anybody and everybody who can afford,
Right.
they will buy Crocs for their kids.
Right.
Then started moving towards men's.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing which I take a lot of pride in is it was very difficult to sell a Crocs to a woman. The problem was, what are you going to pair it with? It won't go with sari, it won't go with suit.
Right.
Yeah, and it won't go. You can't wear this to office. Yeah?
Right.
So it won't go with your office.
Correct.
Then what is the use case here? And we didn't want it to be like a home sleeper. It's too costly for home sleeper.
It is very costly, yeah.
And then that's when we started, sponsoring a lot of fashion events, which were largely focused on women.
Okay.
So we started doing India Beach Fashion Week. We went to Lakme Fashion Week. Okay. We went to Mysore Fashion, all those. We went to Kerala Fashion Week. Wherever there's a fashion week, we started.
Okay.
And we started showing that, it's cool to wear Crocs with sari. Okay. It's cool to wear Crocs with a ethnic suit. It's cool to wear a Crocs with anything. You can pair it up. And that's where the acceptability of Crocs became, across genders rather than only kids, also men. And then, of course, distribution.
Did that marketing paid you?
Oh, absolutely. It took some time. These are the journeys which you can't take for a year. These are journeys which you have to take a bit longer.
Correct.
And it keeps on giving you dividend over a period of time. So I think our contribution in women, which was almost zero, became about 15%, and that's big.
That's big.
Yeah, that's from zero. There was no business, while other businesses anyway grew.
Right.
So larger impact, Saurabh, which I feel I made to Crocs was, distribution network, reach to the consumer, howsoever you want to buy, it is available. You want to buy online, it is available. We set up our .com, which was new at that point in time as a channel. Right. But the larger thing we did was we opened about 225 exclusive stores covering about, say,
that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
Opening a store is a journey altogether.
Correct.
And then while it was still going very strong, very, very strong, I was approached from Tupperware.
From footwear to kitchenware.
Absolutely, yeah. And I just thought, first of all, I didn't understand, why me?
Right.
For two reasons, Saurabh. One is Tupperware largely was on direct selling. If you understand, they don't have distribution
They don't have
networks.
distribution.
You don't have stores. You don't sell
Right.
at departmental stores. You don't sell at hypermarkets. It's all sold through a large sales force, as we call, about 100,000. 1 lakh की sales force होती थी, who
Oh,
are working with the company for the longest time. So,
is it like a MLM kind of
yeah,
business?
I
Can
won't
you
say MLM, but it's like network marketing.
network
MLM
marketing?
is multi-level
Multi-level
marketing. This
marketing.
is single level.
Okay.
Single level in the sense you don't get money
Okay.
for somebody else who's selling.
Right.
You have to sell
You have
yourself.
to sell. Okay.
Yeah,
Got
but you can bring more references,
Yeah.
and more you sell, more commission you get.
More commission you'll
So
get.
it's not MLM, which MLM largely sells opportunity. They
Correct.
don't sell products.
They don't. Right.
Yeah, so single
So it's
level.
a network marketing.
Yeah, it's a network
Network
marketing, I would say.
Yeah.
And it's again a very large American company, formed in
It
1940s.
was huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that was one, and then I thought, I don't have that expertise
Yeah.
to contribute. But then I thought there's no harm in meeting up. And then after the meeting, I realized that direct selling is not working, which of course will not work in the time when social media is so strong. E-commerce is becoming bigger. Direct selling is more like
This is 2020.
It was 2019.
19.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 3 years at Crocs, 3.5 years roughly. So people are more busy than ever before, and direct selling used to work when there were no proper distribution networks, about say 80 years back.
Okay.
So they didn't evolve.
They didn't evolve.
And I was told that the business in India has become 1/4 in last 5 years.
Okay.
And they want to go commercial route. They want to sell Tupperware as everything else is sold. You open stores, you sell through distributors, you
Okay.
sell in hypermarkets, you sell online. And that was exciting. Number one, they have degrown.
Correct.
So in 5 years, they have become
Right.
25% of their business.
Correct.
That gives you a kick.
Right.
Secondly, brand is iconic. Tupperware कौन नहीं जानता?
कौन नहीं जानता? हर
मेरे घर
किचन
में
में
भी-
हुआ करता था.
किसके किचन में नहीं होता है?
10 साल पहले हर किचन में टपरवेयर हुआ करता था.
और उस समय जब ये अपॉर्चुनिटी आई ना सौरभ,
हम्म,
मेरा अपना एक पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस था जो बहुत स्ट्रांगली मुझे पुश किया है ज्वाइन करने के लिए. वो एक्सपीरियंस ये था, मैं अपना घर लिया नया गुड़गांव में, एंड माय बेटर हाफ कविता, शी सेड किचन हमने पूरी टपरवेयर की बनानी है. नाउ अब चैलेंज चालू हुआ, टपरवेयर बनाना तो मिलेगा कहाँ से, क्योंकि स्टोर तो कोई है नहीं उसका. सो जो कॉन्डो में हम लोग शिफ्ट हुए, वहां पे व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप सबके होते हैं, तो वी सेंड अ व्हाट्सएप, does anybody sell Tupperware? They said no, there used to be a lady, now she has moved out, there's no Tupperware. Then I called my EA at Crocs, and I said, Dimsy, can you check, is there someone who's selling Tupperware in your condo or anybody colleagues? Anyway, the result was I tried so much efforts, I couldn't find one seller.
seller, okay.
And what we did after 2 days of all this, this is like when you are not distributed well, even if the brand is very strong, you fail.
Yeah, right.
So after 2 days, Saurabh, we pulled out the car, went to Home Center, which is very close to my home, bought some other brand. Yeah,
Okay.
I won't name the brand. We bought some other brand. And I realized that, shit, what is this company, यार? इतनी बड़ी कंपनी है, मुझे खरीदना है, नहीं मालूम नहीं खरीदूं कहाँ से, कर क्या रहे हैं. And उसके 1 साल के बाद ये opportunity आया. I said, okay.
So
Then when I relate to both,
they connected with you
after a year,
like directly you
no, through, of course, through headhunters.
Okay.
And when I met their CEO, global CEO, for the interaction, and that's when I realized that they want to actually expand the distribution network and go commercial. And that was my strength. And that's where I said, okay, brand is not doing well, it's an iconic brand, I can make a difference.
That's where you saw the opportunity.
Absolutely. And then, very frankly, I have been selling footwear or sportswear for the longest time.
Right.
And I said, okay, let me also add some more value to myself,
right,
by moving industry. So I moved to Tupperware. We made it multi-channel versus direct sell.
Correct.
The brand started growing.
Okay.
And it became like double in first 2 years.
Wow.
And on the third year, I spent 3 years there. The third year, it was growing at about 40%. So it's like it was coming back. We were still doing direct selling, but we started online business. We opened about 200 stores in a very short time. That was also very different business model.
Hmm.
So ladies who used to sell Tupperware, we gave them the opportunity to open stores. So it became
Oh.
faster. So everybody is opening one.
Opening the
So,
store. Yeah.
you are pulling up infrastructure and the resources rather than, franchisee model as we do.
Right.
So it was very good. And the other challenge which we solved there, which was also very interesting working,
Okay.
that was the time when plastic
Hmm.
was seen with a doubt.
Correct.
And Tupperware is all plastic.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So we moved from single channel to multi-channel,
Okay.
from only plastic to multi-product. So we launched glass products, we launched melamine products, we launched steel products.
Oh, before that, there was only plastic.
Only
products.
plastics.
Okay.
Tupperware is known for plastic
Plastics.
for
Right.
100
Right.
years.
Right.
While I was still on this journey, which was interesting, keeping me busy and very exciting journey,
Hmm.
and for this company, you had to be very high on EQ also.
Correct.
Because you have 1 lakh sales force which you are managing, which means that's your
That's
extended
huge.
family.
Huge. Right.
So while I was still enjoying, and again I was headhunted, and they said there's a company called Timex.
This is which year now? 2023.
The Timex was 22,
22.
3 years. It was 3 years.
Yeah.
2019 to 2022.
Right.
And they are looking for leadership change. It's a very large company which I knew, and in India,
Everybody knows Timex.
Timex has been around for 38 years. And I said, okay, that's interesting, because the fanciness which was there in selling Crocs was not there in selling Tupperware. And watches had become fashion.
Watches,
no more functional.
Right, yeah.
Nobody sees time.
Of course.
It's fashion. It's an accessory. I said, okay, fantastic. Let me consider. And then I realized that these guys are here for about 38 years, but it has been very unstable business. You went up in your revenues and came down again. So 38 years, they really couldn't build up a very stable business. And the size of the business was very small as compared to the competition. Competition is largely Titan.
Correct.
And of course others, Fossil and all, but largely direct competition is Titan.
Titan, right.
Titan.
I think Timex and Titan were associated, right?
Sure. So that was the starting, because Timex is an American company.
Correct.
And when we came to India in 1988, FDI was not allowed.
Okay.
If you have to set shop in India, start business in India, you have to have a joint venture.
Yeah.
Who should own more than 50%.
Right.
So Titan was Tata company, India company. So we
Right.
had a joint venture with them,
Tata.
and which lasted for about 10 years.
Okay.
And then since you have to be compliant, so we got ourselves listed. So that becomes, a foreign company, if they are listed, they can
Then
operate
they
on their
are,
own
right,
as a
right.
subsidiary. So that was when they approached, I saw a huge opportunity in the sense,
right.
Titan is 5 times of
Timex.
Timex.
Absolutely.
And Titan is still, local. Timex is global. And Timex is not just Timex. Timex is a group of brands, a house of brand. We have brands.
I think there are 17 brands, 16 brands.
We have 17 brands. At the top is Versace. Then you have Salvatore Ferragamo.
Right.
Then comes Guess Collection. Then you have Guess. Then you have Adidas Original. Then you have Nautica. Then you have Ted Baker. Then we recently acquired Philip Line. And then of course there are a few more brands. Furla is another one. So it's a organization which is not just Timex. Of course, Timex is our flagship brand.
Right.
So it's such a huge opportunity. So I said, okay, fantastic. And watches were becoming
fashionable, right.
And if something becomes fashion, the industry grows.
Correct.
Because, when it's fashion, you don't need one.
Yeah, it's a statement if you're wearing a good watch or a branded watch, right?
Yeah, no, of course, that's the fact. But the other fact is, if something is fashion, people don't need one. They take more. Yeah, because then you have to pair it with your various different attires.
Correct, right.
When it was functional, Saurabh, then it was used for, checking time. Then probably ownership was limited to 1 or 2 watches. The day it became fashion, which is about, say, 7-8 years back, it became more of fashion rather than time. I think at the same time when the mobile, smartphones came, so the functional uses of watches became zero, because you see time on mobile. You don't see time on watch. But watches became fashion. Yeah. So I moved to Timex, after spending 3 years. Again, as I said, I saw a huge opportunity, and I saw there's so much on the table and we are not eating. Yeah, you have Timex, which is 1/5 of Titan,
Yeah.
and you have a plethora of brands, which is 17.
Hmm.
Even if each brand does 50 crores, you can add a lot of value.
Hmm.
And that's where my journey at Timex started, and
Okay.
I'm here for about 3.5.
You have seen consumer habits change across industries, right? आपके एक्सपीरियंस से आज का कस्टमर सबसे ज्यादा क्या वैल्यू करता है जो 10 साल पहले सेम नहीं था?
Yeah, so pehle, in the past, value for money was the major driver. Yeah, which still is the case, but not for the young generation.
Okay.
Somebody who's a millennial, still value for money still is probably the first criteria. But for the youth, it is more of experiential. Are you giving an experience either through your product or your services? Is it personalized? Is it customized for me? It's not like, everybody else is wearing the same, I need to wear. Now the youth is very open to try newer things, and it's not like what everybody else is wearing, I'm gonna wear. So it's not a peer pressure anymore. Individuality is there. People want to have products or services which are very differentiated rather than which everybody else is doing, I need to do. So which means now, and then of course there is a high level of seeing whether it's sustainable materials, if it's a product, then also seeing, how my experience, shopping experience has been, the way I'm buying. Can I buy easily? Is it well distributed? Is it omni-channel?
Okay.
The whole experience of purchase, plus of course, is it a product which suits my individuality? It's more individual rather than a product which everybody is buying and I'm gonna buy.
Do you feel that that's not the case? Like if the product is trending, so people buy because it is trending. What I have observed, do you feel that it is not the case?
No, trending, of course, they'll consider.
Yeah.
So, majority of purchase happens, still happens offline, but discovery happens online. So people do consider what's trending, but that does not give you a guarantee of business if it is trending, because people still see, does it work for me? Maybe it's work for you.
It's just a hype.
It's a hype.
Yeah.
Maybe it worked for many others. I will still test. Does it suit my personality? Does it suit my need? Does it work for me, rather than saying it works for everyone and it works for me? So people are actually conscious about their individuality, and they do not get swayed in a rat race. If it is trending, then everybody is running and buying this. That's not the case. Here people look for things which are a bit more personalized, customized, the experience which they're going to get. Are they experiential? Are they getting experience in this? How the organization is, what's the background? Is it using sustainable materials? Are they known for after sales service? So there are considerations.
So most importantly, if someone is building a brand today, the most important thing is that, are you giving some experience or not?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah, one is experience. Now everything is experiential now. It's not just a normal consumption story. Does it give me an experience? But what has changed, if you ask me? Brands are considered well. Yeah, people are loyal for brands. But product has become more important than the brand. Yeah, I hope you're getting me.
Yeah, I got it.
It's not about if you are say for example, I'll talk about myself. If I'm a Timex, people will queue up and buy? No. People will drop me if I do not evolve. If I do not match their, expectation from the brand. And so it is more on what product or the service I'm giving them. Brand plays a role, but just being a brand which is popular doesn't guarantee you success. You have to constantly keep on evolving your product offering, or if you're in services, to be relevant to the ever evolving consumer. Yeah.
So do you think that brand loyalty is still there today? Like it was there. Like if I talk about my father, so if he buys from BlackBerry, then he will buy the share of BlackBerry only. But that's not a case with me.
No, that's changing big time.
Yeah.
So, brand gives you the benefit of trial. They will consider you. If you are a popular brand, you will be considered. So that benefit is there. But it doesn't guarantee sale. Which again, I'm saying, it's like, it's not just the brand now. it's the product which you are offering also.
Hmm.
So if you are a very good brand, but you have not evolved, and somebody else is offering better product than you at a better value equation,
Hmm.
maybe not so popular, people will try that.
Yeah.
Some time back, a decade or so, that was not the case. It
Yeah.
was, if it is, so Nike will always be good.
Correct.
But believe me, today Nike is also tested. I
Of
was
course,
part of Nike
yeah.
also
Yeah.
for some time.
Okay.
Nike is tested. So it's like brand loyalty being there, but you have to continuously keep evolving and
Evolving, right.
matching the value equation which a consumer probably needs. Yeah,
Correct.
it's not easy. So just being a very popular brand with a legacy and heritage doesn't guarantee success
Hmm.
until unless you keep on evolving with the ever evolving consumer needs and the I call it job to be done.
Job to be done,
Yeah.
right. Hmm.
Are you matching that job which they need? Are you matching with your services or product which they need?
Are you matching customers' vision?
Absolutely.
I would say, right?
Absolutely. So loyalty is still there,
Yeah.
but gives you a benefit, doesn't guarantee you success if you are outdated in your product offering. Yeah.
So when we see today's new age brand, from day one they are going heavily on marketing, right? So is it a right approach, or there's a risk in building hype before creating a product value?
Sure, Saurabh. I will continue what I was saying before this. You have to understand difference between brand and product. Yeah.
Right.
So you cannot make a brand if you do not have good product. The base of a brand is product. Either now or in the past. When they become big brand, they must have offered something which is amazing.
Amazing, right.
Yeah. So brand is not created without a product. So product comes first. Now what new gen, direct to consumer business, a lot of them coming every day, mushrooming.
Right.
So what they are doing is, I'm not saying all of them are doing right or all of them are doing wrong. Just by investing on social media and digital medium, making a lot of hype about your brand through influencer marketing, a lot of it, which is good. You are getting a share of mind. Yeah? So at least they will think about you.
Yeah.
But does that mean you will be successful? No. They will think about you, but do you have the right product? So this is important to invest and being in the mind space of the consumer. So at least they will consider you.
Yeah.
But if you do not have a compelling product matching their value equation and the competitive landscape, all this hype, you lose money only.
You can just create a hype. You can create a brand
without a product which is relevant and competitive. So that's what I would say. There's so many brands who have amazing product and they do amazing marketing. It will work. But just a hype or exponential spend on marketing doesn't give you success. Yeah. That's what India has seen.
Got it. So पिछले 5-7 सालों में ऑनलाइन शॉपिंग ने रिटेल का बहुत बड़ा मार्केट लिया है, right?
Sure.
Do you think that in next 5 years, quick commerce, things like 10-minute deliveries will hurt retail even more?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm a very big proponent of brick and mortar.
Okay.
Yeah. And
what is brick and mortar?
Brick and mortar is retail. जो दुकानें होती हैं वो भले वो मॉम एंड पॉप स्टोर हो, इंडिविजुअल स्टोर एक आपके स्टोर है, या बड़े ग्रुप्स के स्टोर हो, रिलायंस की दुकानें हैं. सो ब्रिक एंड मोटार लार्जली का मतलब है कि जो फिजिकल दुकानें हैं, या फिजिकल दुकानें कभी खत्म नहीं होंगी, और वो that will be there, that has been there for 100 years, they'll be there for another 100 years. But subject to few things. अगर मैं बोले कि क्विक कॉमर्स आ गया तो सब खत्म हो जाएगा. स्लो कॉमर्स एज वी कॉल नाउ, स्लो कॉमर्स आपका जो ई कॉमर्स है वो स्लो कॉमर्स हो गया, क्विक कॉमर्स इज फास्टर. It's putting pressure on slow commerce. Slow commerce and quick commerce, both of them are putting pressure on physical retail.
Physical retail, right?
But pressure is different than becoming extinct or taking your. Now there are 2-3 things. Number one is category which you are dealing with. So if you are dealing with fruits and beverages, you are dealing with FMCG. Yeah, brick and mortar is under pressure, and probably they'll be over, or their contribution will reduce.
Right.
Which has already happened.
Right.
Yeah,
correct.
Because now everything is delivered in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Previously it was delivered in 4 hours.
Tier 1, it is happening.
It's happening. Yeah. Smaller town also it will reach. You will expect.
Eventually it will.
Eventually it will reach. But the impact here will be much bigger. Or say books and music. Or say mobiles.
Okay.
These which are not size agnostic, not very engaging categories. people buy online.
Yeah.
आपको मालूम है आईफोन 16 लेना है आपको, तो 16 कैसा है मालूम है आपको,
Right.
प्राइस देखना है आपको सिर्फ,
Right.
तो आपको जाने की जरूरत नहीं है उसके
जाने की
लिए, लेकिन आपको शर्ट लेनी है
Hmm.
या सो अब उसमें ये है कि now there is a choice. It's not that fashion is not moved online. Fashion has moved online. For us also, we do about 30% business online.
Right.
But offline is very, very strong. So it depends on the category. Is it more engaging? Is it size agnostic? Is it, is it like, can I get it faster? Sari consideration hai.
Okay.
So it will differ on categories, different categories. But India is very wide.
Categories like footwear or watches, lifestyle products.
Sure.
It will not get affected. You're saying this.
I won't say it won't get. Online or quick commerce is one of the channels,
Right.
which it will remain.
Okay.
So it's not that it will not sell online. It sells online, but it's not that completely online or quick commerce will replace retail
Offline or physical store.
That will never happen. That will never happen.
Okay.
And there are categories where it has happened, and those categories, there are few more categories which are at risk. But it depends on which category. But India still, is India and Bharat. Yeah. What happens in India takes longer time to reach Bharat. Yeah. So Bharat still continues the way they used to be.
Yeah.
So overall, e-commerce is making an impact. But it has brought a lot of, I would say, convenience, speed to consumers. But there are a lot of categories which are still driven by retail stores or physical stores. I think both of them will coexist.
Okay.
And that is what has happened across the world. Experience is also different. After some time, you will also like to go on a weekend. India doesn't have a lot of opportunities of doing surfing and mountaineering on the weekend. So this is also a therapy.
Of course, right. Going to malls is a therapy for people. Yeah.
आप और क्या करेंगे?
Right.
या तो ऐसा नहीं वो खत्म हो जाएगा. खत्म कभी नहीं होगा. रेशियोज चेंज होंगे. हो सकता है कि ई कॉमर्स थोड़ा और बड़ा हो जाए.
मतलब ये हो सकता है कि कोई सिटी में ई कॉमर्स ज्यादा हो रहा है.
Sure.
और कोई सिटी में सपोज इफ वी टॉक अबाउट टियर 2 टियर 3 सिटीज वहां पे फिजिकल स्टोर्स का ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस है.
श्योर या ओवरऑल वही मैं इंडिया भारत की जो बात कर रहा था वही है. एक तो फिजिकल स्टोर है ही नहीं वहाँ पे. फॉर एग्जांपल वर्साचे को खरीदना है छोटे टाउन में वहाँ मिलेगा नहीं, तो शायद ऑनलाइन पे जाना पड़ेगा उसको, या उसको बॉम्बे आना पड़ेगा या दिल्ली जाना पड़ेगा. बट आई थिंक दे विल ऑल स्टे इन हार्मनी. और दूसरा एंगल और है how you are evolving. अब रिटेल स्टोर पहले चलते थे मोनोपोली पे, या एक्सपीरियंस कुछ ज्यादा अच्छा नहीं था इंडिया में. आप जाएंगे तो सर्विस लेवल इतने अच्छे नहीं थे. या now they are also evolving. They are adding value. They are also giving experience. So while you can get online the same thing at the same price or maybe a bit cheaper, people still want to go there to get that experience. So there's evolution which has to happen on our retail setup in India. Competition पहले नहीं था, अब online is competing us, making us better, I would say. Yeah. But it will always be a combination, but ratios may keep on changing, and the industry or the product category will define online being more or offline being more.
So why do some brands succeed in India while other fails? Even when the product is same, product is perfect, there is no problem in product. But some brands succeed, some fail. Why it happens?
Yeah, so I would say one reason, if you ask, is like consumer focus.
Okay.
Yeah. If the product is same, serving the same, purpose, or maybe at the same price equation, still one fails, another succeeds. I think we really need to understand what the consumer needs.
Okay.
Are we fulfilling their needs? Are we better in service than our competition? Are we available? That's another reason.
Okay.
Are you available everywhere? Few brands decide कि ऑनलाइन में नहीं बेचेंगे क्योंकि ना ऑनलाइन मेरे ऑफलाइन को कॉन्फ्लिक्ट करता है. But you are looking at that, but you are not looking at your consumer. जो कंज्यूमर ऑनलाइन चाहता है आप उसको दे नहीं पा रहे शायद. तो आई थिंक दीज आर द डिफरेंसेस. यू हैव टू कीप कंज्यूमर फर्स्ट रादर देन योर कमर्शियल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ओनली. वो एक मेजर डिफरेंस है. अगर दोनों प्रोडक्ट सिमिलर हैं, प्रोडक्ट दोनों सिमिलर हैं, वैल्यू इक्वेशन दोनों ड्राइव कर रहे हैं, कंज्यूमर फोकस, कंज्यूमर एक्सपीरियंस, अवेलेबिलिटी, these one reason or the combination of reason would be responsible for failure of one and the success of other. Yeah.
Crocs, Timex, Tupperware. Why do these brands hire people like you in their crucial phases.
Sure.
Like, what do they expect you to do?
So, I took you through my journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after Reliance,
Hmm.
I have worked with the companies at a stage when they were not doing well.
Hmm.
Few of them were at a stage of closure.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I could,
Hmm.
by my intervention, strategies, and execution,
Hmm.
building teams, making changes, I could turn them around.
Hmm.
And that's where I found that probably the brands and the companies which have a struggle
Hmm.
because of either the changes in the consumption behavior of the consumer,
Okay.
or say they want to establish a new product categories,
Hmm.
some or the other challenge which is there, and they have degrown over a period of time.
Hmm.
I could prove that I can join them,
Hmm.
turn the business around,
Hmm.
bring it to profitable, and grow from there.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's where I feel all these three, if you see,
Hmm.
whether it's
Crocs.
Crocs had a distribution issue.
Yeah.
It's an American company. My predecessor was a expat.
Hmm.
So that gentleman probably didn't know difference between Jabalpur and Jaipur. Yeah. So distribution was a challenge. Yeah.
Right.
So you set up the right distribution. As I
Okay.
said, you reached
So
the
in Crocs, distribution was the
distribution
issue.
was the major challenge which I solved.
Okay.
The other issue was that it was more of a kids brand.
Hmm.
So in kids, you are limiting your market.
Correct.
Yeah, so we made it more relevant to men, and in the end made
women.
more relevant to women
Women.
also, although it was difficult.
Hmm.
Tupperware had a different challenge. So
Okay.
so things were changed over here at Crocs, and it
Right.
worked well. Tupperware had a different challenge.
Hmm.
Tupperware largely is a business which is done by women
Women.
through connections. Yeah?
Correct.
And there are about 1 lakh women who are selling.
Hmm.
So, लेकिन दुनिया चेंज हो गई.
Hmm.
ऑनलाइन आ गया, सोशल मीडिया आ गया, आपके पास टाइम नहीं है अपनों से मिलने के लिए. आप अपनी
Correct.
फैमिली से मिलना
Right.
मुश्किल हो रहा है. अब आपको टपरवेयर खरीदने के लिए पहले तो किसी को ढूंढना पड़ेगा,
Hmm.
फिर उसको घर बुलाएंगे, वो आपको कैटलॉग दिखाएंगी,
Hmm.
कैटलॉग दिखा के ऑर्डर लेगी, वो लेके जाके आपको 10 दिन बाद दोबारा आएगी आपके घर में, प्रोडक्ट देगी, पैसा लेगी. To get a product, nobody has patience to go through this supply chain.
Correct. So over here also in Tupperware, I think distribution was the problem.
Yeah. So distribution,
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, actually distribution. It's again a distribution. It's like they had one single channel, which is direct selling, the way I explained. We made it multi-channel. So we opened stores. We opened .com. We started selling online. We started selling from, departmental stores and hypermarts. So that problem was solved. But then another problem was there. Tupperware is known for plastics. इंडिया में प्लास्टिक अगेंस्ट तो बहुत बड़ा रेवोल्यूशन चल रहा था उस समय.
Right, right.
People were really worried about plastic on two counts. One is अपनी health, family की health. दूसरा, damage it does to earth.
Environment, right.
बट टपरवेयर का जो प्लास्टिक है वो एक्चुअली सस्टेनेबल प्लास्टिक था.
Okay.
सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक नहीं, वर्जिन प्लास्टिक था.
Okay.
बट इश्यू क्या होता है, जब आपको प्लास्टिक के अगेंस्ट है तो वो आपको कंज्यूमर कम्युनिकेशन एंड एजुकेशन करने में बहुत रिसोर्सेज और टाइम लगता है.
लग जाता है.
उसका दूसरा तरीका ये था, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग चीज है सौरभ जो मैं बताने जा रहा हूँ आपको. तो आज से करीब 20 साल पहले, 25 साल पहले, कोक और पेप्सी, ये दो बड़े ब्रांड हैं. ये कोक का बिजनेस बहुत करीब 70-80% ड्रॉप हुआ. उसका रीजन मालूम है क्या था? इंडस्ट्री रिपोर्ट्स आए कि कोक में बहुत ज्यादा शुगर है.
right.
बिजनेस बिकेम 80% लेस. तो कोक ने क्या किया? डाइट कोक.
Zero sugar.
उसमें शुगर नहीं है. आज की डेट में भी 99% बिजनेस कोक का ही है. डाइट कोक का बिजनेस 1% है. लेकिन अब ये नहीं कहता कोई कि उसमें शुगर ज्यादा है, क्योंकि यू हैव डाइट कोक. आप शुगर नहीं चाहिए डाइट कोक.
What a great strategy.
सेम चीज हमने टपरवेयर में की. आपको प्लास्टिक नहीं चाहिए ना, तो वी स्टार्टेड मेकिंग ग्लास, सिरेमिक, सो वी एक्सपैंडेड, स्टील, यू नो. लेकिन हुआ क्या, सब कुछ है. अब भी जब तक मैं वहां पे था 90% बिजनेस प्लास्टिक का आता था. अब ये था कि अगर आपके पास वो नहीं है तो सिर्फ प्लास्टिक नहीं लोग लेते थे. अगर आपने उनको वो चीजें भी, जैसे डाइट कोक की तरह, अब आपको स्टील चाहिए, स्टील भी है. अब आप जब स्टील भी दे रहे हैं और प्लास्टिक भी दे रहे हैं, उनमें बेनिफिट बता रहे हैं, तो प्लास्टिक बिक जाता है. सो दैट्स व्हाट वी डिड. आवर बिजनेस वाज, आवर कोर कॉम्पिटेंसी वाज प्लास्टिक.
करेक्ट.
मेरी सप्लाई चेन सारी प्लास्टिक पे थी. मैं स्टील ज्यादा बेचता तो शायद कंपनी पैसे भी नहीं बना पाती.
You just need to find the way to distract your
not distract, to objection है उनको.
Okay.
You have to give them a solution. And solution is, if you need steel, you have steel.
Okay.
But listen, steel जब बनता है ना, जितना पॉल्यूशन वो बनाने से
बनाने
पहले
से-
कर लेता है, या
right.
ग्लास जो बनता है हीट पे जाता है. So
Correct,
we
correct.
explained.
Hmm.
And then plastic started selling. Anyway, so these were two. One is omni-channel, multi-channel, I would say, from direct selling. Secondly, making Tupperware fancy again.
Right.
Making Tupperware acceptable again. Making Tupperware, it had become a devil sort. Plastic है सारा. And then we explained, it's single-use plastic and multi-use plastic. आप single-use plastic use करते हो, वो जाता है, वो डैमेज करता है आपकी हेल्थ को भी और अर्थ को भी. ये तो आप विल में लिख के जाते हैं. टपरवेयर तो टूटता नहीं कभी लाइफ में. आप अपने विल में लिख के जाते हैं बच्चों के लिए. तो एक्चुअली यू आर सेविंग एनवायरनमेंट. सो दैट वाज द जर्नी. एंड द लास्ट वन, टाइमेक्स में क्या हुआ? Again, so business started coming back and business became really big. And then the opportunity came in Timex because turnaround यहाँ पे भी चाहिए था. Turnaround ये चाहिए था. करीब 38 साल से हम यहाँ पे हैं, या लेकिन ना, और जो हमारा कंपटीशन है वो हमसे 6 गुना बड़ा है, या तो इट्स लाइक ए ह्यूज मार्केट. तो काफी बड़ी, आपका शेयर कम है. फिर आपके पास इतने सारे ब्रांड हैं. यू हैव वर्साचे, यू हैव सल्वातोरे फेरागामो, यू हैव गेस, यू हैव एडिडास, लॉट ऑफ ब्रांड्स, 17 ब्रांड्स. बट बिजनेस बहुत छोटा है, बहुत छोटा है. तो अब ये था कि इसको टर्न अराउंड कैसे करना है. तो पहला तो एक तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन बहुत जरूरी होता है. इफ यू आर नॉट इजीली डिस्कवरी आप
इजीली एक्सेसिबल
नहीं है तो वैसे नहीं बिकेगा. राइट. सो वी एक्सपैंडेड. वी बिकेम वेरी बिग इन ई-कॉमर्स, व्हिच वॉचेस में बड़ा मुश्किल होता है. बट वी डिड द राइट थिंग्स. बिजनेस मॉडल सेटल किया हमने. देन वी ओपन स्टोर्स. वी एक्वायर्ड अ कंपनी कॉल्ड जस्ट वॉचेस, जो कि एक्सक्लूसिव स्टोर है. टाइमेक्स वर्ड को एक्सपैंड किया, उसका मॉडल ठीक किया, प्रोडक्ट पे बहुत काम हुआ. Timex is 170-year legacy.
Yeah.
One of the largest brand in the world with 2.7 billion watches sold. So यहाँ पे journey continues still. It's more to, first of all, let's set the product right. क्योंकि brand अच्छा है.
Correct.
But as I said, brand becomes insignificant if you do not evolve your products. So we kept on evolving our products.
Correct.
क्योंकि brand तो popular है ही है. लेकिन जो product थे उस when I moved in, उसमें जो वैल्यू या जो वैल्यूएशन कंज्यूमर की होती है, प्लस एवोल्यूशन विद द चेंजिंग टाइम, बिकॉज वॉचेस, एज आई मेंशन, वॉचेस अब टाइम देखने के लिए कोई नहीं यूज करता. वॉचेस फैशन के लिए होता है.
फैशन, राइट.
सो यू हैव टू मेक दैट पिवट. सो वो हुआ. सो यू वर्कड ऑन प्रोडक्ट, यू वर्कड ऑन चैनल्स, एंड थिंग्स बिकेम बिग. सो आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू शेयर, दिस इज, वी आर लिस्टेड कंपनी हम लोग. इस साल आई एम देयर फॉर 3 years. पिछले 3 साल में बिजनेस डबल हो गया है.
ओके.
हमारा प्रॉफिट 4 गुना हो गया है. सो सॉरी लंबा जवाब दिया, लेकिन आई फील द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन who are looking for turning around businesses, I think I suit them because I get a kick when I make a difference, when I add value, rather than run an organization which is very stable and growing at 5-7%.
But how hard it is जब एक ब्रांड का, ट्रेडिशनल ब्रांड का रेलेवेंस खत्म हो जाए, उसको टर्न अराउंड करना कितना हार्ड होता है? How tough it is?
No, I think there is nothing which cannot be done. You just have to find the right remedy.
So what's the first thing you do when you join any new brand?
Sure.
And like you can see that you have to do a turnaround.
Sure.
What's the first step you do?
Yeah, so I work on 100-day period.
Okay.
100 दिन में, पहले 100 दिन is important. अगर आप पहले 100 दिन में आप डिफरेंस नहीं बना पाए ना, you will never be able to turn around. Difference in the sense, you नहीं कि चीजें सारी बदल जाएंगी. So पहले 30 दिन, you divide into understanding exactly business क्या है, कहाँ पे challenges हैं,
okay,
कौन क्या करता है, competition क्या है, और हमारी history क्या रही है. Yeah, if you don't do it, you will just take decisions which may not work because you don't know the challenge. Second, जो 30 दिन का period है, 30 से 60 दिन, you see what are the lowest hanging fruits. Lowest hanging fruits क्या है, वो इंटरवेंशन करके आपका बिजनेस बढ़ सकता है. शेयर वो आप उस पे काम करना चालू करते हैं, बिकॉज you are still in a professional world.
Correct.
You don't have endless time.
Right.
If you say मैं 2 साल में टर्न करूंगा, तो probably nobody needs you.
Right.
You have to show some improvements in a short period while you're building on long-term strategy.
Right.
Yeah, and then the next 40 days you start executing those lowest hanging fruits, plus defining your long-term strategy. Mid and long term. So it's like you have understood the challenges. You have already started making difference.
Right.
कुछ चीजें जो नहीं पहले काम कर रहे थे, काम होने चालू हो गए हैं.
Company can see the difference in next 100
Consumer,
days.
your shareholders, your stakeholders is okay. Things are happening,
Yeah.
and then the last 40 days, I said, you settle down completely your strategy. How you are gonna do, what you're gonna do, who is going to do, what is the time. Gantt chart बन गए. उसके बाद 101 दिन से you are executing all of them. Yeah. Now, if you do this, the chances of failures are less. Yeah. And then you have to keep in mind, if you are joining a company who's not doing well, और time वैसे भी कम है, because they have been struggling already.
Yeah.
You can't have endless time.
Right.
Last thing, अगर आप मेरे से पूछेंगे ना, I'm a very biased guy towards execution.
Okay.
As we normally say, execution eats strategy over breakfast. Which largely आप strategy जितनी मर्जी बना लें, बहुत अच्छे हैं, आपको presentation
जब तक execution नहीं होगा, there's no point.
I'm very biased, amazingly biased.
Okay.
Strategy has to be made first. But ये ना हो कि आप strategy में ही बहुत time लगा रहे हैं, and फिर उसका execution नहीं हो पा रहा है. Timing is also important. You have less time.
Yeah.
You have to, turn it around faster, because, you have been hired to turn around.
Right.
You cannot, wait for 2 years.
Right.
So while we are settling the strategy, we are also executing few of them.
Okay.
So, I also believe that when you start executing, that's the best thing to do, because कुछ चीजें काम नहीं करेंगी, but काम नहीं किए हैं, as compared to you are making strategy for 6 months and not doing it.
Yeah.
When you do few things, you may go wrong in few of them. No problem. You have taken the learning, correct them, and go ahead. So I am very execution biased. Spending a disproportionate time on discussions and strategy defining 6 months, 8 months, I feel is a waste of time.
It's a waste of time.
You have to define strategy, but do it fast. Make it bigger one. Identify the levers which you want to do and start cracking and learn it along the way. That will be faster.
Right.
And that will be more efficient.
Right.
That's how it has been.
Okay. So we have talked about large organization, right? So अगर कोई छोटी D2C ब्रांड है या फाउंडर नई ब्रांड स्टार्ट करी है, बट 6 months हो गए, बट इट इज़ नॉट वर्किंग, सेल नहीं आ रही है या लॉस में है, और आपसे कोई फाउंडर पूछे कि सर क्या स्ट्रेटेजी फॉलो करनी चाहिए, तो व्हाट विल यू आस्क, लाइक प्रॉफिट, रेवेन्यू और प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट, आप क्या चीज़ देख के डायग्नोस करोगे कि कहाँ गलती हो रही है?
Sure. I think आप स्टार्टअप टाइप की
न्यू एज ब्रांड्स,
न्यू एज ब्रांड की बात कर रहे हैं. पता है उसमें कुछ मिस्टेक्स कहाँ पे हो रही हैं. जो नए स्टार्टअप्स हैं बड़े सारे, ये नहीं कि लॉट ऑफ देम आर वेरी डूइंग अ ग्रेट जॉब, बट फ्यू ऑफ देम हु आर फेलिंग. उसका एक रीजन ये है, दे आर ट्राइंग टू बिल्ड अ ब्रांड बिफोर बिल्डिंग अ प्रोडक्ट.
ओके.
या सो अगर मेरे को ऐसा सिनेरियो आएगा, एंड इफ आई हैव टू हेल्प समवन, पहला तो ये है कि आपका प्रोडक्ट जो है वो क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा है. एज आई से JTBD, जॉब टू बी डन. कंज्यूमर की प्रॉब्लम क्या है, आपका प्रोडक्ट क्या सॉल्व कर रहा है. काफी इजी है, मैंने प्रोडक्ट बना लिया और बेचने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ. दैट्स अदर वे अराउंड. You have to make a product basis what is required by consumer, where their competition is less, and there are not many brands or companies who are giving that solution. Yeah.
Okay.
अगर आपने वो ठीक कर लिया ना, तो सारे पैरामीटर्स बिजनेस के, फाइनेंशियल जितने पैरामीटर सब ठीक हो जाते हैं, क्योंकि आपकी सेल आएगी. यू आर एक्चुअली मेकिंग अ प्रोडक्ट फर्स्ट, एंड प्रोडक्ट से ब्रांड बनेगा, क्योंकि ब्रांड तो आपके पास है नहीं है अभी. आप नॉर्मली क्या गलती करते हैं, ब्रांड बनाने की कोशिश कर लेते हैं, काफी पैसा लगा दिया एडवर्टाइजिंग पे. Popularity of a name is different from a brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Your popularity of a name becomes only a brand when you give a product which is world class and solving a problem which a consumer has.
So first 3 things you would suggest any founder when he is starting something, some D2C brand.
Sure. As I said, first of all, let's see what is a problem which anybody is facing.
Okay.
Everybody is a consumer.
Correct.
सौरभ की क्या तकलीफ है, वो सुबह उठता है, रात को सोता है, उसके पूरे दिन में क्या तकलीफ है, उसको क्या चीजें ऐसी हैं जो अभी भी ना ऑप्टिमाइज नहीं है. उसकी अब सब्जियां सुबह आ रही हैं, दूध सुबह आ रहा है, ओके वो हो गया, कपड़े उसको मिल रहे हैं, ठीक है जी, खाने के लिए जगह है, सी व्हाट ही डज द होल डे. एंड अभी भी ऐसी कुछ चीजें हैं जिसमें ना विच कैन बी मेड बेटर, विच मेक्स हिज लाइफ इजियर, या और मेक इट मोर कन्वीनियंट, or make it more value added. It could be also, yes, like it will be very difficult to find a product which is not there already. प्रोडक्ट सारे हैं, मे बी
सारे
वैल्यू
हैं,
ऐड नहीं कर रहे,
right.
मे बी वैल्यू ऐड नहीं कर रहे. कैन यू गिव अ बेटर वैल्यू ऐड? कैन यू मेक इट फास्टर? कैन यू मेक इट more attractive? Can you make it more fancy? Can you make it long lasting? Depend on which brand, which product you are talking about. तो वो पहले ये देखना पड़ेगा कि स्पेस कहाँ पर है. मैं तो चाहता हूँ, मैं I have been a footwear guy all my life, so I'll start another sportswear brand tomorrow. But that's what I am doing. But is there a space? Is there a problem? Probably problem स्पोर्ट्सवेयर ब्रांड में नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम जो है वॉकिंग शू की में प्रॉब्लम है, और प्रॉब्लम मे बी कैजुअल फुटवेयर ब्रांड में. सो रादर देन डूइंग व्हाट आई फील आई एम गुड एट, I need to see what a consumer need is, which is unfulfilled.
Okay.
Yeah. And who are the ones who are currently giving solutions,
Yeah.
and where are they
How
failing?
can I be better than them?
Where they are failing.
Yeah.
If you do this, believe you me, you won't fail.
Okay.
Generally, we fail because we do what we want to do without taking consumer need in mind,
Perspective, yeah.
and also try to build brand.
Okay.
As I said, no brand will succeed if your product is not good. Even if you are a good brand, you will die if you do not evolve and keep on giving product which is relevant and value enriched.
So do you think that India जैसे market में price effective brand हमेशा win करेगा? If we talk about D2C, अगर सस्ता है तो no one can kill that brand. Do you feel that thing?
I would say yes and no both.
Okay.
Bit more of no, less of yes. It's value for money, I would say. सस्ता नहीं.
Okay.
I won't say सस्ता. Value for money.
Value for money.
अगर वो लाख रुपए की घड़ी भी है लेकिन वो वैल्यू फॉर मनी है, वो ज्यादा बिक जाएगी. नंबर ऑफ कंज्यूमर ऑफ कोर्स कम रहेंगे. दैट्स हाउ द डेमोग्राफिक इज. इट्स नॉट अबाउट कितने का है या कितने में बेच रहे हैं आप. इट इज अबाउट आप जितना ले रहे हैं उसमें कितनी वैल्यू
ऐड कर रहे हो.
1000 वाला भी महंगा हो सकता है, लाख वाला भी सस्ता हो सकता है. That's what I feel, and that's how I have seen all this while. Okay. For example, Tupperware itself. Tupperware जो कंपटीशन, जो क्लोजेस्ट कंपटीशन थे उनसे 6 गुना था, लेकिन वैल्यू ड्राइव 50 गुना करता था एज ए प्रोडक्ट, बिकॉज वो भी टूटता ही नहीं है. सो इट्स नॉट अबाउट कितने का है, इट्स अबाउट कितना मैं खर्च कर रहा हूँ, कितनी वैल्यू मिल रही है. That's what I feel.
Most of the D2C brand who have started online are now focusing on physical offline stores. आज भी इंडिया का मार्केट 58% ऑफलाइन है, राइट? सो डू यू थिंक कि लॉन्ग टर्म सर्वाइवल के लिए और लॉन्ग टर्म ग्रोथ के लिए ब्रांड्स को ऑफलाइन आना ही पड़ेगा?
Yeah, I think that's a very broad question. Okay. It depends on what is the product you are selling.
Okay.
Yeah. There are few products you don't need a physical store.
Okay.
There are few products where you need an omni-channel. Physical store भी चाहिए, online भी चाहिए.
Right.
But there are very hardly any products which you only need, offline. ऐसा मेरी नॉलेज में कोई बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट नहीं है जिसमें सिर्फ आपको ऑनलाइन ही चाहिए. आज के जमाने में आई थिंक ओमनी चैनल का जमाना है. यू एंड पीपल बाय, एवरीबडी दे कंज्यूम द सेम प्रोडक्ट बट दे interact with you differently. Some interact online, some come to your .com also, some come to marketplaces, some go to your store, some go to your partner store. So omni channel is the key. You have to be in all channels to maximize your business. But I think this is very generic. I'm saying it depends on what product are you selling. And that is where the ratio of different channels is important. There could be many brands which can survive and thrive just online. जरूरी नहीं कि आपको दुकान खोलनी है उसके लिए, वो जरूरी नहीं है. डिपेंड करता है आप क्या प्रोडक्ट है.
But if you talk about footwear
or a fashion brand, I would say it has to be omni-channel. You have to be, offline. when जब ऑनलाइन आया था, सौरभ, तो सबने बोला था कि ये नहीं चलेगा, कौन खरीदेगा जूते ऑनलाइन से. कपड़ों में फिट, शूज में फिटिंग होती है, कपड़ों में आपका स्लिम फिट, 5 तरह की फिटिंग है, शर्ट्स में 12 तरह की फिटिंग है, डेनिम्स में, तो नहीं चलेगा. वो ऐसी बात है नहीं है. Still about 1/4 of the business for fashion still happens online.
Okay.
Yeah, either through marketplaces or through .coms, and 3/4 still happens offline. Yeah, and offline evolve होते रहेगी तो ये होल्ड कर लेगी इतना, नहीं इवॉल्व करेगी तो थोड़ा e-commerce में ज्यादा जाएगा. बट फैशन के लिए आपको दोनों चाहिए. if you are asking about fashion, I think दोनों चाहिए आपको, और दोनों को ही इवॉल्व करते रहना पड़ेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल फिट की आप नॉलेज कैसे देंगे? अभी आपको for example, watches.
Yeah.
Watches you want to see on your wrist
Right.
while standing on the
Correct.
full mirror. Yeah.
Right.
Can you give it using AI? Can you give it online? Absolutely, you can give it
Yeah.
online. So maybe online will go higher. If you don't do it, offline will go higher.
Right.
You will lose share of online to someone else.
Right.
Evolution चाहिए होगा, लेकिन
Hmm.
I think Omni is the mantra. Omni or multi-channel, if I call it,
Multi-channel.
that's the mantra for fashion. It
Okay.
cannot be you trade one for other.
Okay.
If you trade one for other, you will lose share. Yeah, that's what I feel.
Got it.
Hmm.
So, where do you see the next big opportunity in retail consumer space?
I've started working when there was only retail.
Yeah.
Physical store ही होते थे, online था नहीं. The biggest opportunity lies in experience and experiential when they come to you visit your retail store.
Hmm.
And very frankly, our retail industry even today
Hmm.
is lacking. Yeah.
Okay.
आप एक बार आप कुछ प्रोडक्ट खरीद लें,
Hmm.
आप उसको एक्सचेंज कराने जाए, see the experience.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be sent from one to another कि ये वाली
Right.
दुकान पे है, वहीं पे होगा.
That's the biggest
अच्छा,
problem.
उस काउंटर पे होगा.
Yeah.
इससे ज्यादा नहीं ले सकते हैं.
Hmm.
इसमें जीएसटी जो है नंबर है, तो उसी स्टोर पे जाके ले सकते हैं.
Hmm.
Is that the experience consumer wants? No,
No,
not at all.
not at all.
They will go through
Hmm.
the hassle
Yeah.
for that time and then they will drop you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So experience which you give.
Hmm.
That's the most important. When they come, एक तो उन्होंने effort किया है consumer ने,
Hmm.
आपकी store पे आया है. It could be your exclusive store, it could be a partner store. So वो जो effort है,
Hmm.
is being done to get an experience, not just buy the product. क्योंकि वो तो online से product ले सकता था वो.
Correct.
He wants to have an experience. He wants to understand the difference between one product and another one.
Right.
He wants to be shown all different options. He wants to understand each of the products
Correct.
through your, sales counter sales guys.
Hmm.
He want to try it, which all gets into service.
Hmm.
The experience.
Right.
If they go there and the watches are displayed and he asks, "Oh, show me that, show me," and he just shows, he'll not come
That's
again
not
to
an
you,
experience, right?
because if that is the case, he could have done online,
Online. Yeah.
and if he didn't like, he could have returned it.
Hmm.
He has come to really experience,
Hmm.
get a wider assortment, knowledge difference between one product and
Yeah.
another one. Some suggested by the guy who's selling it, giving differences between an automatic watch and a quartz watch, for example, in watch industry. And if you don't do it,
Hmm.
then of course the ratio of online will become higher, because he's getting the same sitting at home
Yeah.
experience
Hmm.
or the treatment.
Right.
And then you have to ensure that you communicate with him, have a relationship. We call it CRM, yeah, customer
Yeah,
relationship
customer
management. That's also important for offline.
Right.
How are you reaching out to him? How are you informing him of the purchase, what he has done, what can be done, or what the warranty period is, or some new launches are there? How are you maintaining that relationship?
Hmm.
Experience, relationship.
Correct.
These are too important to keep, offline
Right.
as big as it is today.
Hmm.
If you do not do it, it will become smaller.
Then you are losing your market share.
You are losing it.
Yeah.
Somebody else who does better, they'll go to them.
Yeah.
Or if
right.
none of us do better, they'll buy online.
Online.
Yeah. So we lose everywhere. Yeah. And India, thankfully, our cost of labor is not very high.
Right.
You can actually employ more people than a Western world
Correct,
where the
correct.
challenge is.
Yeah.
So that customized service is given.
Hmm.
Somebody is there all the time to help the customer if in case they have query or they want to try something and they want to understand the difference between various products, features, benefits. I think experience. That's it.
What I've
experience do you-
understood from you is there are only two most important thing if you are running a D2C brand.
Sure.
First is you have to be easily accessible to the customer,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And second, if they are coming to offline stores, then you have to provide a good experience.
Sure. Absolutely.
Right.
Rather, I would say the first one is you should have the right product, which
Okay.
is matching expectation and the value equation of the customer.
Okay.
If you don't have, there's no business.
There's no business.
Channel only comes afterwards.
Okay.
The product comes first,
Yeah.
which becomes brand if you do a great job.
Correct.
And then, of course, channel comes. If you have a bad product, not suited, you may have an amazing channel, you will still not sell. Because they'll come, they'll not find value in it.
So how much time it takes a name to create a brand?
So, brands are created over, how the brands are created. When people buy,
Correct.
and they are happy about it.
Hmm.
They come again to buy,
Right.
and they become your ambassadors. They
Right.
talk about
They
it.
talk about
That's how the brand becomes. So it's a journey. If you say brand can be made, so that's not a brand. That's a investment you have done on marketing.
Correct.
So your name is popular.
Hmm.
You are not a brand.
Correct.
Your name is popular, but popularity can be both ways.
Correct.
It could be good, it could be bad.
Bad. Absolutely.
People may talk about lot more people may talk about your brand as being really bad brand.
Yeah.
That's also popularity. Brand as such, or the name, I would say, the brand as such is built over a period.
Over a period of
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
More people experience your products,
Hmm.
they are happy with it, come back, talk to people around them about yourself, become your ambassadors.
Yeah.
That's when you become brand. Yeah.
When your customer.
Now, if you say time, it depends on what are you selling, what are the products.
Yeah.
But it's, of course, generally it's not, few months or a year. It is way longer. It's at least, you'll have to invest for about 3-4 years. That's the earliest you can start becoming a
brand.
Good brand, and then of course it's a journey. Yeah.
Okay. So, last but not the least, what next for Deepak?
No, I'm enjoying what I'm doing here.
Okay.
So that 3 years, of course, as you said, I don't know, how do you identify that my experience in the last 3 companies has been 3 years each. It was 3 years there because, majority of the heavy lifting was done.
Yeah.
So companies had come back to track, and they were doing good business. I think Timex still has a lot more opportunity.
Okay.
There are a lot more things which can be done, which will continue our growth over the next 5-7 years.
Okay.
And that will keep me excited and hungry.
Yeah.
Give me, a lot of passion to make those things work and improve our business performance. So I feel I'm enjoying what I'm doing.
Okay.
I feel there are even more opportunity than what we could harness, and that's what you will see over the next couple of years. How Timex and the Timex licensed brands which we have, we keep on adding brand. Just to let you know,
Yeah.
this year we're adding Aston Martin. That's another new brand we're adding.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things which are. Then smartwatches is a new category which we are building up. We are not in a rat race, so we didn't make it big in the last 3-4 years because it was not making commercial sense. The category was not making. So there's lots happening, lot to do. You will see lots happening in Timex and our association.
So, thank you so much for your time, sir. It was great to hear about your journey and the lessons which you have learned while working with some of the biggest companies. We truly appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best for what next.
No, thank you, Saurabh. It was pleasure to be with you. I enjoyed our conversation as much as you have enjoyed. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for listening to What Next. We hope you enjoyed our conversation with Deepak Chhabra and learned something about D2C culture. If you like the episode, please share it with your friends. We'll be back soon with more interesting conversation. Thank you.